Good afternoon. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead. Monday's done. Pretty quiet day in the indices, but some decent action in a lot of the tech names, some of the names that we follow pretty closely. Tomorrow, I will not be doing a morning call because we're supposed to get 1.5 feet of snow, so I'll probably be trading in Short Hills if I can get there, if not from my laptop, so I'll have limited access. But I did tweet to Redler All Access some of the longs that I do have, and I'll give you guys some of the reasons why. You know, just because I do think that some things look better than others. You can't be in everything. You know, prices matter, which we talk about. So anyway, go to the S&P cash. All in all, still, you know, decent action here. You know, this was your pre-election sell-off, and then this was your, you know, your bounce back, and this is when Donald Trump was elected, and then here's your accelerated trend. Okay, last time we had a nice clean breakout was right here. Then you had that big gap up on Donald Trump's joint session address that seemed like he didn't mess up. Anyway, now you just pulled back to the 21-day. So last Thursday we had a little red dog reversal. Now we're holding above it. So to me, you know, granted there's not a hell of a lot of momentum, a lot of power, but you look at the size of the move that we've had, hanging in there. So as you know, spiders or S&P look okay. I guess if you did like a push through failure, people would say a lower high, and then we see if we roll over. But you know, we'll cross those bridges when we get there. For today, some decent action. Lots of good stuff from actually the morning call and the morning call express. It was nice to see the small caps do a little bit of a bounce. Not out of the woods by far, but a green day, yippee! I did play the IWM pre-market. I came in flat. I bought it when it was down like 20 cents. It went up like 50 cents, and I didn't hold it because I'm in too many stocks for now. All in all, I guess you want to see these moving averages get reclaimed versus get rejected for more downside. If it takes back the 50-day and the 8-day and the 21 some kind of authority, you know, maybe it looks better. But for now, it's just a small day after lots of days down. And this, you know, if you remember, was the last time we were looking at it for some potential upside. And we got, you know, you get stopped out here. Why not try a little bit versus a major level? But for now, you know, if you're not in positions and you're going with ETFs, maybe you get a little bit more tomorrow in the IWM. IBB is still holding where they have to. You know, we talked about if as long as we stay above 294 in the IBB, we're looking good. This was that engulfing bar when President Trump met with pharma CEOs and took back the moving averages, and it's been above the 21 days since. So as long as it's above this trend, there will be people looking for opportunities in the IBBs that could go higher. Celgene, you know, just because I bought some calls a few weeks ago, or I said hopefully we hold here. Sometimes you do get some wishy-washy action, like here was like a breakout, came in, held, went, you know, tried to break out, held, went. You know, so at this point it did hold in there, so we still have some of those calls that go out into April. Let's hope that, you know, Celgene could lead and at some point, you know, take this out and continue towards that area. Some of you guys are in a call spread. You know, if you're trading the stock, you know, I don't like to trade bios themselves. I like to trade the options just because, you know, if bad data happens, I don't want to be in harm's way in any way. Looks like maybe it can continue. So far, it looks pretty good. A lot of you guys were buying Kite and had a nice trade there. At this point, it's a little extended. This is when that news came out. Then you had your nice bull flag. Some bought it as the 8-day caught up. Some when it took off. Some when it took out this pivot. Now I would be a seller of this Kite for now. Good job to you guys if you happen to have done that. GWPH, real quickly, just to end here on you know, still, you know, not really breaking out above this level yet, but still looks okay. We're in some calls from the start of the year, which was around here. So it still looks okay. We're going to need some kind of crazy news or upgrade, whatever, for this to take out that 132 to 138 for now. Looks fair, but I'm just sitting in calls and I'm not really trading it. Let's go what we are trading. So this morning, Mobileye got taken over by Intel. A lot of you guys in Redler All Access were saying that you still had calls, that you went out multiple months and didn't take the near-sided months like I did. I was planning on rolling into, you know, options further out because this was one of my focus stocks, but I didn't do it. Maybe it was because Citron had the negative report. Maybe it was because I didn't want to have excessive risk. I don't know. I should have done it. Didn't do it. Mobileye got taken over. You know, good for you. You know, it was above the 8 and 21 day. So when you have a company like Citron, you know, bashing it, saying it's worth, you know, 30 something, and it doesn't get below the 8 and 21 day, that tells you there's support. And then you had you know, a decent close here, actually. I wish I was at my desk. I wasn't on Friday. But I was told that a lot of calls were being bought in the 50s. If I would have looked at it, I would have probably taken some back. Didn't do it, whatever. A lot of you guys did. Congrats. Where we did make money, though, was NVIDIA. NVIDIA, I thought was interesting. figured, why would people sit with a net short position when a company like Mobileye just got taken over and this is in the space and this is the leader? This is corrected, ever since it failed on earnings, came in. So I was like, you know what? It's negative. It happens to go positive and trades above this little pivot here. It could cause a little bit of a squeeze and be back in play for a move back to the 50-day. Wound up being a good trade. Didn't close on dead highs, but I think, unless it gets like downgraded and some guy, who's short pays the wirehouse to downgrade it. No, that never happens. Sure it does. But anyway, I think it's worthy of an overnight. I am long a little bit overnight, thinking we get a little bit of follow through. If you're long from this red dog reversal and you stayed with it and didn't sell into the resistance, then you're still in it. A lot of guys like to take the trade and hold the third and then use that low as a swing point just in case you're not that active and you have a different type of job versus prop trading, and you just look to find good stocks at a nice entry. That happened to be one of them, and now maybe you have a little bit more upside. This morning I tweeted about BABA. Really nice move right off the bat. Still looks good. I would have liked a stronger close, but whatever. Here is at the resistance area, broke above this spot. I started buying it pre-market. I was like, I think finally it's ready. Had a big channel from earnings. It crossed and broke this descending channel well before then. We had options into earnings. It made some good money. Tried it a few times in a year. It didn't work. Shanghai, Hang Seng, we're up, and I just figured maybe today's the day, and it happened fast. And you have to be prepared. I listed two pivots, and one of them wasn't as good as the other. One of them was right here, like this 104 and change, and you just had to be buying it. I was buying it. I bought a little bit pre-market. I added when it got through that 104.75. Added around that 105. There was a wall there. I'm like da-da-da-da-da-da. And then it went, sold some, got comfortable. Because basically I wanted to be able to hold some, and that's why you try and use a tier system. If you're in just a tier 1 buy, get to tier 2, sell back to tier 1, and then all of a sudden it's hanging in front of that 105, which was a big level. Then you buy it, it goes, you sell it, hold what you're comfortable, and then it came all the way down. But ultimately, just decent pulling. Woke up a little bit. I would say if this is any good, it probably shouldn't get below this. I'm hoping tomorrow we get a gap up. I am long it overnight. I do think that barring any kind of news, I don't know, downgrade this, no reason why this week, it couldn't see, this 110-ish area just starting to go. What did Momo do today? Momo had those earnings. It's still hanging around, broke above this spot, still above the gap here. I'm not in Momo, but I am in BABA. Netflix woke up. I'm in some Netflix. I haven't been in Netflix in a while. We haven't had a day where it's had follow through either. I think so many traders are so fed up that finally nobody wants to take it home. So I am long some Netflix. Still lots of sideways action since the last gap up. Sometimes it takes that long. So now we'll see if this day one leads to a move back towards highs. Hasn't done it in the past. Maybe it does it now. We'll see. I'm in some, and hopefully there's some follow through. It's one of my go-to names, and just technically it looks good. Maybe this was enough time now, and whenever you get a day one out of a tight pattern and it's one of your go-to names, you got to be in some overnight just in case they take the rest of the trade away from you. Amazon I'm not in, but hangs around. Maybe it's something to get in soon. Amazon's got to take this out. Going sideways, nice channel up here. High beta techs, pretty comfortably in vogue. Maybe tomorrow it gets above that spot. Google, 15 cents, it went above the all-time high. Just funny, but anyway, it's still hanging in here. If you bought it when it took back the 8 and 21 day, that was your entry. If you added when it tested the 21 days, that was another. Now trending its way back to highs and still looks good. Facebook I've had from time to time. I don't have Facebook, but some of you guys do. Facebook's been pretty much riding the 8-day moving average for a long time. So if you buy it every time it's the 8-day, you're making money. If you add a few times on the breakouts, making a little bit more, but it's been tricky on the breakouts. Last time I had real size here was right there, and then the next day it opened down and then didn't care and then resumed. So anyway, it's good to see high beta names making all-time highs. Shows you can happen. Today I re-entered Apple. It's tight. I needed to kind of get back in rhythm with Apple. I still think it can go higher. Here was your gap up after earnings. Here's when it took out that pivot. Some bought here, some bought there. Anyway, here's your last upper flag. They definitely stopped some guys out when it broke through the 8-day, but there was no downside follow through, and now it's tight again. So I'm in small so I could watch it. That if it takes this out, I want to be involved for more price for a bigger move. My note talked about 144. We shall see. Then earlier today, when Tesla was down like $1, I tweeted to Redler All Access saying I'm going out and I'm buying, I think, the 260s for June just to have them because name's a little broken. We're all worried about some kind of secondary, which can happen. But just say it's a cute secondary with a company like Apple who comes in and buys a big percentage of them, et cetera, or they come out with some kind of subsidy, who knows with the budget. Maybe we get a big play. So I'm like, I didn't do the options to start the year. I traded the stock and did okay, but could have done better. Now I'm this pullback in Tesla. I figured go out to June. It's going to ignite for some reason. It's going to get above this 260 and make its way back towards the previous highs here. I am in the stock. I bought a little bit just to have. I like this little pattern here. I think it can go up. Small. I'm in more options. I feel like, some kind of catalyst. I'm not sure what it'll be, but I think it is an infrastructure play now. He's meeting with Trump, and Trump's going to spend a lot of money. From 290 down to 245, that's a decent pull-in. So I went with the June calls, the 260s that I'll sit in. So this way I have no stress about trading the stock. In my Redler All Access note, with report, I talked about buying Tesla here, which we all did. Some of you guys bought the options. I'm like, why don't you buy I'm not sure what I said. I think it said the 220s and forget about it. And you guys into earnings wound up making like 4 or 5 times on your money. So if you sold it into earnings, here's a spot to probably buy some back if it's going to go and if it's going to be huge, which it has that potential. So I don't want to miss it. I missed Mobileye because I let a report scare me out of my conviction with the name. I'm not going to try and let that happen again. Some of you guys had AMD overnight. That's you. Congrats. The focus here by Sperling was on this reversal. If you took it there and put a stop in, made some good money. Now right into this spot, which we talked about being some resistance, maybe you sold some. But 4 days up, now it needs to reset up again, but that was a decent one. What else? What did GDX do? Some of you guys took it last week when it turned up. Yeah, turned up a little bit, for those guys who like the miners. Some of you guys bought it when it went above 2155, and I guess there's a little bit more room here for those of you that like to do it. I don't like to play the miners really, but I did talk about when it broke this level here, when it diverged from the metals to get out of the way, and if you got out of the way up here, maybe you're making some small cash flow that way. What did the GLD do? The GLD hanging here. Some of you guys were asking me if this is a red dog reversal, and yes, it is, but I didn't play it. This is a red dog reversal top where, traded through 119.88, put a high in a 120.40. You could have sold if you were long from this nice trend when it took back the 8 and 21 day here, or if you weren't in it and looking for a short, that was, short signal number 1 or another one that wound up working. And now here, a small little cover your short signal, and maybe it tries to get into there for those of you that trade the metals. Banks were out of play today, but Wednesday we'll see what happens there. Goldman just grinding. Talked about breaking 250.50 to get out of the way. If you did so, it's still grinding lower. We'll see what happens here, moving into Wednesday. Everyone's thinking March is a go, which I do think also. The question is, will it be June or July next? I do think they're going to have 3 this year. I don't think 4. Maybe the banks were thinking 4, but I doubt it. I just think this so far, look at the size of this move. Why not come in a little bit here? It's not the end of the world. So in closing, I know tomorrow could be a big snow day for all of the Northeast. I don't even know if I'm going to make it into the Short Hills office, so I might not be able to be on the VTF, but I will tweet what I'm doing. You can see it by the VTF. I do have some longs. I also have a spider hedge just in case something crazy happens overnight. There'll be someone filling in for me tomorrow, and then hopefully I'll be back Wednesday. It'll be business as usual. For those that follow me on Twitter and wish me well, I did have a little relapse with my back. Just goes to show never in anything get too comfortable. I had my back surgery December over a year and change ago. Started feeling really good. Did some races with my son. I did a Ragnar race and started to think that all is well in backland. But meanwhile, I went bowling. Oh, you think bowling? I did 2 Ironman 8 marathons, and bowling is what put me on my butt Friday night. So at this point, feeling a little bit better. So thank you for that, and just goes to show that never get too comfortable. And hopefully that was a little wake-up call where it's not too bad. Cryotherapy, I did 3 sessions this week, and it was great. Took care of some of the inflammation, and I'm going to do one again tonight. Then just really change the lifestyle into something conducive that will support fitness for the rest of my life versus worried about big obstacles, because I did those when I was a little younger, in the younger years. Well, anyway, have a good night. Be safe tomorrow, and I will be in touch. Bye-bye.